Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel once again. So today I'm going to be talking about springtime recommendations for books. Let me just preface this by saying that these are mostly just books that I have seen the cover of and they remind me of spring, but some of them I don't have here physically, but I will still show pop-ups of the covers on the screen this time. The first series that I have for a springtime recommendation is going to be Dreamland Billionaires. It's just the covers of these books remind me so much of the springtime, especially terms and conditions. First one, the fine print, I think it's actually the smallest one. It's about 432 pages. This one is about Rowan and Zara, and Rowan's granddad dies and basically leaves all three of the brothers special tasks, okay, to get their part of Dreamland. So Dreamland is a theme park, kind of like Disneyland. I don't remember his task, but I do know Zara and Rowan are so cute. Rowan is a grumpy jerk who is like a workaholic. She is like this super artistic girl who works under him, and she gets drunk one day and submits a criticizing proposal of their most expensive ride. He offers her her dream job. He promotes her, and so the only thing is that he's going to be her boss, and he's like super difficult, like a super difficult person to get along with because he's so rude. But they are so cute. I love him so much. So she basically discovers like his secret, and they end up falling in love, obviously, because it's a romance, and the chapter intros are just so cute. Owen and Declan are my favorites. I haven't read the third one yet, but I'm about to. So the second book in the series is Terms and Conditions, and it's about Declan and Iris. They are my favorite couple. It's a marriage of convenience, and it is also boss and assistant, and it does also have the pregnancy trope, but it's super freaking good. I gave this one a 5-star. His granddad wants him to get married and fall in love before he can become the CEO and have a family, and so he thinks that he can go around that clause and marry Iris, but they have to pretend to be in love for like the attorneys and stuff and their work. And it's so cute. This man is so cute. The way that he, again, I don't want to give it away, but he's the cutest man ever. Like, he's so grumpy and rude, but the way he makes time for her and the way that he uses certain fonts just for her and makes his entire department do the same thing is the cutest ever. And then last we have Final Offer. I don't want to go into too much detail about this one. It's the third book in the series. It follows Callahan, Kane, and I actually went into detail about this book in my last video, which was my March TBR, because I am going to read this month. But I believe this is a second chance romance and a single mom trope as well, and I've heard such good things about this. It's definitely the chunkiest one, but I've heard such good things about this one, and I cannot wait to read this one either. Actually, I think I'm going to start that as soon as I'm done with this. It's going to be cute. So next up for spring videos, I have this one called Easton. I found it for like $4.50 at my local resale bookstore. I've never heard of this book or this author. It says award-winning author Lynn Vonk. The colors, okay, hear me out. I could not decide if these colors reminded me more of winter, spring, fall, definitely not fall, but winter, spring, or summer. And I think I've settled on spring because there's a ton of flowers, and like, you know, flowers bloom in the spring. So this is about Olivia, she already has a boyfriend, and her relationship is super stable. Like, he's like her dream guy. And then Easton, this mysterious stranger, arrives at her door in the dead of night, throwing her perfect world into disarray. Now, I've never heard anyone speak about this book, and I've never heard any reviews about this book. I think it's supposed to be a dark romance. Oh wow, look at these pages. They're so cute. But there is a warning at it. It says right here that it contains themes of childhood trauma, death, violence, and SA. A full list of triggers are on her website. If this seems like something you would ever be interested in, I would definitely check out the triggers. But it is super short. It's 280 pages long. Another series that I think is perfect for the spring is actually ACOTAR. And I don't have the physical books here with me, but I do have them at my apartment. The first one is a bunch of world building. Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. That is a mouthful. The first book is this girl. She kills a wolf, and she's not supposed to, or at least she's not supposed to get caught. But this other wolf shows up at her door. It's basically a world of fairies. It's a fantasy book. And this other wolf shows up at her door and like makes her come with him. And they fall in love. And she is fighting Amarantha, who is she's not a high lady. She's like taken over Tamlin's court. But I do enjoy that series. I'm only on A Court of Mist and Fury right now. I actually started reading the ACOTAR series about 2 years ago. But I loved it. I think I gave it like a 4.25 or 4 stars. But I'm so excited to get into A Court of Mist and Fury farther so that I can delve into Resand instead. And I believe I'm like 3 hours into the audiobook, the dramatization one, and I actually have a really interesting video of that coming up as well soon, sometime, probably next month. But that entire series just screams spring to me, especially the covers, especially A Court of Mist and Fury. And I know he's like the Night Court, but yeah. So I'm sure you've all heard of ACOTAR. And my description is not doing it justice at all. It's super fun and super interesting. I think that it's definitely a springtime fairy tale, fantasy, fairies, monsters, bat boys type of time. So next up for my springtime recommendations, I actually have the Magnolia Parks universe. I have all the books here, but I'm only going to go through the first 2, Magnolia Parks and Daisy Haites, because I don't want to give anything away. But again, I'm so super lucky to have these out of print covers. They're like so freaking beautiful. I went into more detail about this book on my last video, my March TBR, because I'm going to read it this month also. But it's basically about this bad boy and this beautiful London socialite, and they are like extremely toxic for each other, but they can't help themselves. They are drawn to each other, and it kind of, I believe, it gives everyone Gossip Girl vibes, but to me it does sound like Chuck and Blair, and I'm super excited to give this one a go. I love a toxic romance. And then Daisy Haites is the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe, but it is a set of different couple, I believe. It says, no guns at the dinner table. All 20-year-old Daisy Haites has ever wanted is a normal life, but as the sister of London's most notorious gang lord, she knows better than most that in this life everything comes at a price. I don't know if these people all know each other. I'm kind of assuming that they do since it's the same universe, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. So Daisy's parents were murdered, and she was raised by her brother Julian. Her life is super complicated because he is a gang lord, and she falls in love with this guy called Christian, who is like does not follow her brother's rules and stuff like that. Like, he is, I don't know if they're like rivals, but Christian is just doesn't care what Julian says. Like, he's not gonna follow what he's told to do by Julian, I guess. I'm not quite sure. That's just the gist that I'm getting from the synopsis. So Christian is in love with someone else, but he's going to use Daisy to try to get over that someone. But he is super emotionally unavailable, and he sounds like a right and total jerk. And honestly, I might end up liking these more than Magnolia Parks, because I love that kind of thing, and I'm super excited to get into this one eventually as well. But I haven't read it yet. Like I said, that's really all I know about it, but I do know everyone rates these super highly, and I think Katie Colson also just did a video where she read all of them. So until I have a video out about these books, definitely check out other people's, because these are like iconic and super popular, and I'm excited to see what the hype is about for all of these. Next up, I have Icebreaker as a spring recommendation, and I don't think that it is set in the spring. I'm not quite sure, but this cover of this limited edition reminds me so much of springtime that I couldn't not include it in this video. I also went into more detail about this one for my last video as well, because I am also reading this in the month of March. But it's basically about this girl called Anastasia and this guy called Nate, and he's a hockey player. He's the captain of the hockey team, and she is a no, she is not a ballerina. She's a figure skater, and her partner ends up getting hurt, I think, and he agrees to help her. So a few other books that I would recommend for springtime is definitely the Hunger Games series. It's dystopian. I feel like everybody knows what the Hunger Games is now, and I don't feel like I need to go into it. Anything that's fantasy, especially Shatter Me series, gives me definitely spring vibes. I've never read that either. And the other one that she wrote, These Woven Kingdoms, I haven't read those either. I have them, and they're beautiful. The purple one is beautiful, but I haven't read those either. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different series that scream spring to me, or books in general, but I basically base this off of like the covers of the books and the feelings that they give me, because I don't think, the only one that I think could probably be set in the springtime would be Iris and Declan's book, Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, but I think that's more of summer. I'm not quite positive, don't quote me on that. But yeah, those are just some books that I think would be good to read during the springtime, and I'll probably definitely read most of them during the springtime. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe and stick around if you want to see more of my videos and recommendations. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!